Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 38. In today's episode, it's going to be a lot of UFC, some NFL. We're going to be talking about UFC Vegas 37, Anthony Smith's win over Ryan Spann, then UFC 266, which is coming up September 25th, Ortega versus Volkanovsky. And then we are going to be talking a little about the NFL, our recap of our fantasy teams, the whole shebang. So the usual on that. But as always, this episode is brought to you by Hot Streak Fantasy, the best in-play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2 to 3 players in the MLB and NFL while you're watching your favorite teams and watch them make you some money. Hot Streak is matching your initial deposit as a bonus when you use promo code Hot Sauce. So get Hot Streak Fantasy app now. We say it every week. I'll keep saying it. Very one of the best in-play apps on the market for fantasy. Very easy, accessible. It's very quick. And you can make money watching your favorite teams and players. In the NFL now, it's a big thing. NFL betting, people love it. And MLB with the wild card races heating up and everything like that. So you can bet on the Jays, make some money. But Eric, before we get into the episode, as always, roll it. Welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show. Like we said, episode 38. Eric, last week we didn't have much to talk about. Talked a lot about the NFL. This week, though, as we know, UFC 266 is going to be happening September 25th with the main event, Volkanovsky versus Ortega. But before we get into that, why don't we talk about the UFC Vegas 37 main event, which was Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann, a light heavyweight bout, which was, I think, 6th versus 11th in ranking. Anthony Smith came away with the submission win. I forget what round. It was in the first round, right? Yeah. First round.
It was quick, yeah.
Submission quick, I remember, yeah. And there was a little scrum after the fight there. Anthony Smith got a little heated, it seemed like. He wanted the respect. He felt disrespected because Ryan Spann, he's this Walmart version of John Jones, I'm guessing, but not looking at his opponent and stuff like that, looking down. Anyway, Anthony Smith, one of the UFC biggest vets, he's been through a lot. So obviously he was pissed when nobody gave him the respect he deserved. He comes out with the first round submission win. Eric, what did you like about Anthony Smith in that one?
Anthony the Lionheart Smith.
Mm-hmm.
That's my boy. I've always liked him. This guy's a monster. He's a beast. And coming into this, his ground game is insane. Everyone knows that. And he's been improving on his striking too. So coming to this fight, if you look at his ranking, it's like 6, right? Which is kind of low for someone like Anthony Smith, who literally has fought for the belt. And obviously, he was on a 2-fight win. It's not even a win streak, but he won 2 fights, 6. But like he's a very big name in the light heavyweight division, which is kind of like dying out. Not dying out, but it's not that exciting right now.
No.
But yeah, so the thing with Anthony Smith is his whole career, he's literally fought whoever Dana White has thrown him. So if someone throws him, like Dana White would be like, "You want to fight him?" He'll be like, "I'll take it," whatever. It's always like that. So even when he was younger, that's how he got to fight some big names, and he upset a lot of people. So his first big fight that he won, and it was a huge upset, was what's his name again? But it's what's his name? He fought Rashad Evans. So he beat Rashad Evans, and that was a huge upset because he wasn't supposed to he was a small name, and then he beat Rashad Evans, and then after that he beat Mauricio Rua, who's also a really big name, and then that's how his career started going relatively quickly. So he's like, oh, since since he got that kind of treatment and was able, he was low ranked and he was able to fight someone of high ranking. He was like, okay, I'll take this fight. And then he won in a very big fashion. He's like, I'm done getting disrespected. And I just want to, he just wants his flowers. But he calls out Rakic, who beat him, I think it was in 2020, which is pretty recent. Mm-hmm. He wants that rematch. Go fight him. And, the exciting news I wanted to tell you about. Like, no, not exciting, but, okay, so me and Chtib, before we were talking off film, like, we're saying like, Dominic Reyes, I can't believe he was so close. But Anthony Smith is actually the closest one to ever um ever
Beat John Jones.
not beat John Jones. Like he was getting beat up in the fight,
Yeah.
but John Jones threw a very illegal knee
Mhm.
that hit him in the head, and then Anthony like it was so like it could have been the fight could have been over easily, but then Anthony Smith was like, okay, no, like I'll continue fighting. Like I don't care. Like I don't want the belt that way, and then.
Okay, well, that's not what I meant when I talked about Dominic Ray. Dominic
No,
Ray
I
is
know, I know,
actually,
I know. But I'm just saying,
you know,
it's kind of crazy how. But
Yeah.
Anthony Smith is the closest. Like he could have been a
technically, I
champion.
guess.
He could have been a champion. Like he could have pulled Aljamain Sterling, but he didn't. Like bro, and the rest like he was getting beat up the entire fight and could have had an easy exit. So that's why a lot of people do respect Anthony Smith a lot, and that's why I respect him a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, obviously Anthony Smith before the fight, he was telling us that he's seen a lot of guys like Ryan Spann throughout his career. You know, all those up and coming. He said he fought a lot of those guys, and he knew he would have the advantage because of that. Because he's, you know, he sees himself as the more experienced, which he is, experienced vet, and he's seen it all and fought the best and everything like that. And that's exactly what happened. Ryan Spann. He looked outclassed in that fight. And Anthony Smith was sharp, real sharp in that fight, and came out with the victory. Now, potential fight, yeah, Christmas time. We said, like you said, Rakic said he's available in December. So Merry Christmas to Anthony Smith, like he said to Michael Bisping. Aaron, what do you think about that fight, that matchup? You know, he's lost to him before. Yeah. What's he got to do to come out with a win this time? Actually, make a name for that title shot now.
Okay, so exactly. Last fight, Rakic completely dominated him. If I have the stats right here, it was a complete blowout. So Rakic had 44 strikes. Anthony Smith only had 9, which is 9 strikes in a 3-round fight is nothing, right? So
3 per round.
Literally 3 strikes per round. So that's not the usual Anthony Smith you'll see. That's why. But the thing with Anthony Smith is, I think it's 36 wins, and I believe 33 or 34 of them are finishes. So this guy when he wins, he finishes. There's no way it's that high, but like a majority of his finishes, like of his wins are finishes. So like, cause he's so good, like his ground game is good. He'll choke you out, or he'll ground and pound, or he'll finish and strike you. You know. So the fight with Rakic, I don't know, because Rakic is a really good fighter. Obviously, if you look at the numbers from last fight, you want to see Anthony Smith maybe get more takedowns, or maybe basically fight like he fought Spann, like just completely dominate and just take away all the space and give his opponent no chance. Because I do believe, if I did have to do an early bet, I do believe Anthony Smith is gonna win. I think he's got like something going here, and
a little momentum in his way.
Yeah, exactly, momentum. That's the word I was looking for. And I don't know, Rakic beat Anthony Smith and then beat Thiago Santos, who is also a very big name in the light heavyweight division. So I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
But Rakic isn't like the type of fighter to like most of his fights go to decision.
Yeah.
But Anthony Smith is like, I don't know. If there's fire, I'm telling you, Anthony Smith is coming out.
Well, listen, I think, as we know, Jan Blachowicz, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, yes. Jan Blachowicz, yeah.
Pretty much on the dot, no big deal. And Glover Teixeira are actually going to fight for the belt coming up, UFC 267? 268? Or is it 267? I think it's 267.
267, yes.
I think so. Thinking maybe the winner of Smith versus Rakic has the potential challenge or title fight versus, I don't know, the winner of, let's see, who knows what Glover Teixeira is thinking, you know, if he's thinking of retiring, if he wins, most likely. Maybe that leaves a vacancy. Who knows? Yan gets another match, gets another shot at it. If so, if that happens, maybe against the winner of Rakic or Anthony Smith. So, you know, we're going to get a little more, the gears are going to get going here for the light heavyweight division soon. December, that's going to, you know, they're going to have UFC 267, then that fight in December, and then we'll see what the next potential title fight will be. Who knows if it's Smith, if it's Rakic, or
there's Yuri
Prochazka, right?
Yeah, he's
there. He's on he's won 3 in a row so far.
And then you also can't sleep on Dominic Reyes, who also is a pretty big name.
Who's on a losing streak though right now? 3-fight losing streak. John Jones, obviously, the champ, and then Yuri himself. So we'll see. As you know, light heavyweight, not the most entertaining division. Hopefully things kind of pick up here. But anyway, that's UFC Vegas 37. But Eric, we got to hop into the September bout, UFC 266. Three big fights. We have the Curtis Blades, the heavyweight bout versus I forget who. What's that guy's name?
Rosenstrike.
But whatever. It's going to be a good fight, but I'm focusing on three main fights here. Obviously, one of them being the women's flyweight championship bout. Valentina Eric Shevchenko, Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy. Obviously, Shevchenko Eric, a negative 1,200 favorite to win this bout. Lauren Murphy, a plus, 700 to win this fight. Shevchenko on a 7-fight win streak. Lauren Murphy, she's on her own little win streak, 5 fights. And Eric, I really think the only reason she's getting a shot right now at this title is because Shevchenko has run through the competition already. And it's basically who's next for dinner. So I think we know where our predictions lie here. Shevchenko is completely unmatched and untouched in that division. As we know, she's only lost twice in the late 2010s, and both are being to the bantamweight champion, Amanda Nunes, who's probably the GOAT of women's MMA.
Exactly, yeah.
So there's not much to talk about here. Lauren Murphy, she's a good, okay striker, and she has a good wrestling basis. But when it comes to Shevchenko, she's just too technical in every aspect of the game, in my opinion. And Lauren Murphy's forward fighting style is going to get her hurt versus Shevchenko, who's gonna be pretty accurate. I'm gonna assume with her strikes, in my opinion. I don't know.
So sorry. Valentina, obviously her career is basically almost perfect, other than the Amanda Nunes stuff. But with that, it's kind of tough because it was the fights weren't. It wasn't like at the time when they fought, they weren't like at their peak yet. So the first one, it was a 3-round fight. Amanda probably had, but it's very close. If you rewatch a very close fight, the second fight is a 5-rounder, but also a very close fight. I think it was split. One of them was split decision. So both of them very close. So there's not too much. I don't think it's gonna tamper her legacy that much. But after that, 125, it's literally been her division the entire time. She's destroyed everyone that's come her way. But now she has Lauren Murphy, who's a very good challenger. Obviously, the odds, because Valentina's a beast, but the odds aren't in favor of Lauren Murphy at all.
Nope.
But you can't. And the thing with Lauren Murphy right now is she's 38 years old, 37, 38. So later end of her career, but five fight win streak, 15-4 record isn't bad. And some of her recent fights against Joanne Calderwood, I don't know too much about them, but there's some decent fighters in here. But Valentina, obviously, I'm 90% sure. Yeah, 9% sure she's gonna win.
That division.
She's got everything. Also, she's been sparring with Brandon Moreno, who's the champ right now in the 125-pound division, and they have good things to say about her. And if you watch all her fights, she pure destruction. So
yeah.
Exactly. So
not much to think. Exactly. I'm gonna go with the Russian here to Eric. My prediction: Shevchenko KO. I don't know, maybe the 3rd round, but Eric, she's won in every possible way. 7 wins by knockout, 7 wins by decision, and 7 wins by submission. So Shevchenko, obviously, kind of literally the female version of that Russian character from Rocky. I forget the name.
Oh, Drago.
Drago. Literally the women's flyweight Drago. So look out for Shevchenko to keep dominating come September 25th versus the American Lauren Murphy. It would be a huge upset if Lauren Murphy came on top, which would be exciting, but very thin chance, Eric. As we move into another main card event, Eric, this is a rematch of the ages, 17 years to be specific. Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler. Eric, like I said, they haven't fought since Nick Diaz's 2nd career fight. I believe that was in 2004 or something like that. But it's been 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's been 17 years since these two have fought, and now they're going to take one of the main card stages here at UFC 266. Nick Diaz, the underdog going into this one at a plus 105. Robbie Lawler minus 118, so he's the favorite in this. If people don't know what happened in the first fight, Nick Diaz actually KO'd Robbie Lawler in the second
Yeah.
round. And so Nick Diaz said he feels like he's in the best shape of his life. What do you think going into this fight about those comments?
Okay, exactly. So obviously, yeah, you're right. 2004 was their last fight against each other,
Mm,
and in that fight, Robbie Lawler was already a big known name, like not big known name, but he was known to knock out people and win. He's already like he's a little older than Nick Diaz, but Nick Diaz, a huge underdog in this fight, because and what was crazy about that fight was Robbie Lawler was a striker, right? Powerful striker. If you listen to the commentating of, I've watched that fight multiple times. You listen to the commentating, the whole fight. It's like, oh, is Nick Diaz actually standing up with Robbie Lawler? Because Nick Diaz is he's a jujitsu guy. So the whole time Nick Diaz, hands up like this, like, and then
yeah.
he outstrikes Robbie Lawler and knocks him out, which is and when Nick Diaz was 20 at the time, and that really uplifted his career. Nick Diaz after went on a crazy streak. Robbie Lawler, a couple years later, actually got cut from the UFC, went to Strikeforce, became a champ there. And then I think he only came back in like 2013.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because I think Nick Diaz's last fight was like 2015 or
2015. Good that you mentioned that, because for those that may not know, Nick Diaz was on a kind of a losing streak, went to middleweight, fought Anderson Silva. He lost that fight, then got banned by the UFC.
Well, that fight, there's something I think
marijuana.
He
got banned for marijuana.
But it was like overturned, it was overturned.
Yeah, because
but now you think about it, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's so
but he got banned 5 years.
5 years.
So now he's back with his first fight since that incident, 2015. Yeah. But it's been a while. Robbie Lawler has been cut 2013. So yeah, two guys who have been out of the octagon for a while are now coming back to set in stone, and maybe a potential third fight if Robbie Lawler comes out with the win, or Nick Diaz ends that. And then who knows? Maybe he continues fighting Jorge Masvidal. Who knows?
Something could happen. And the thing with Nick Diaz here is, if you look at his history, is I'm not like the UFC. They for some reason they're always against Nick Diaz. Okay, like they never had his back. Like even with the marijuana, like just a lot of things. They like Nick Diaz, like he just wasn't like Dana White didn't really like him. Like even though like if now you think about it, he's a huge name. His personality fits mixed martial arts, right? It's like whatever the we or whatever, but like just his character, like just being from the 209, like everything just fits UFC. So now it's kind of weird to look back on, but at that time, UFC had an image to keep. Like they didn't want to like. MMA is supposed to be like kind of like a like
it's a
good,
political
exactly.
Sure.
But 5 years, I think not the sentence, but the suspension got reduced a bit, but still Nick Diaz I'm on fight, and then now he's back, he's ready to fight Robbie Lawler, who is on a losing streak. But if you look, obviously he lost Ben Askren. What? No, we're not talking about Ben Askren, but lost to Kobe Covington, who's a beast.
Yeah.
But hey, Robbie Lawler. When he got cut by UFC, came back in 2013 and then fought, and then he actually got the belt. He got the belt. So Nick Diaz never actually got the belt. So, but the thing is, it's kind of weird because Nick Diaz, if you look at his career, career-wise, he had a way better career. He's won way more fights than Robbie Lawler, and he's fought like probably harder guys than Robbie Lawler. But Robbie Lawler was the champ, so it's kind of interesting to see that they're back now where they are.
So then you gotta begs ask the question, Eric, who's got the advantage, who's winning the fight here? Who do you got? Eric's picks.
It's kind of tough to say because if you look at Nick Diaz,
it is tough. They haven't fought in a while, so there is not
And Nick Diaz, if you how many win streaks? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was on a 10-fight win streak, and then he fights. Yeah, so he was on a 10-fight win streak and then loses to Carlos Condit by unanimous decision, and then loses to George St. Pierre by unanimous decision. That's 2 losses. What a really good fight, like GSP, right? And then fights Anderson Silva, and then that fight gets over. What's the ruling? It's a no contest, right? So it just doesn't. But still, like Nick Diaz, the ending of his career really doesn't look that bad, right? Because this guy was on a 10-fight win streak, and on the other side you have Robbie Lawler, who on his thing has like a loss to Ben Askren and stuff. So if I had to, I'm most likely probably gonna bet on this fight. I'm gonna bet on Nick Diaz. I just think he's a Diaz. Like Nick Diaz almost never he never loses. Even by decision, he might lose, but it's gonna be really close because he's so good on the ground. Because that's his main thing. His striking, so entertaining, and it's not like it's just tough because Robbie Lawler is a beast because he has that one punch. But I haven't really liked the ending of Robbie Lawler's career, 4-fight losing streak. The fighters he's lost to like Neil Magny, Kobe Covington, Ben Askren, RDA, not bad, but it's just I feel like Nick Diaz got this.
Well, we're gonna see who comes out on top in that fight.
If you had to bet, who would you bet on?
I'm going with Nick Diaz too.
Okay,
I'm not
exactly,
not gonna take Nick Diaz. You know?
Exactly.
Guy would probably just like beat the shit out of me if I ever said that in front of him. So,
no, but I'm so happy Nick Diaz is back in the UFC. He's so good for the UFC. I was never there when Nick Diaz was in the UFC, but you hear so much stuff about Nick Diaz, and just by saying Nick Diaz, like the thing about like everything, like Nick Diaz's personality and everything he's done for the UFC. Imagine Nick Diaz is even bigger, and he's an even better fighter than that. So he was back then. He was probably even a bigger of a superstar.
Yeah,
and it's kind of crazy for a lot of fans because I'd say 95% of the fans weren't watching UFC in 2004. So I mean, there's probably a good like Joe Rogan, or whatever, but like there's still
it was literally just
Joe Rogan. But like 17, like if you're still watching, like that's crazy. So there's not that many fights. So it's nice for the newer fighters like us to like see this and people to look back in history and like now compare to it. It's nice. It's nice.
It's a little history lesson, but in real life, in our face. So that should be an interesting fight. But let's go to the main event of the evening.
Yes.
Alexander Volkanovsky versus Brian Ortega, Eric, the two coaches on this season's Ultimate Fighter 29. Of course, this is a featherweight bout for the featherweight championship belt. Alexander Volkanovsky practically on a 20-fight win streak. It's like 19 or 20. Anyway, he comes in as the underdog at a -170. Ortega, the number 2 ranked contender in the featherweight division, comes in at a +140. He's 15-1. Ortega's last fight was a win against the Korean Zombie, was a unanimous win by decision. Volkanovsky, last time we saw him, was winning that controversial split decision win over Max Holloway. Say what you want about that fight. What do you think, actually, before we get into that? What do you think about that Max Holloway fight between Volkanovsky?
So, like the first one, a lot of people had it really close, so like almost a draw, right? You could have said a draw, and a lot of people, I've searched, like I've rewatched the fight. It's like if you watch the fight, it's so close.
It comes down to that third round, really.
Exactly, and all the shots are like this. It's so hard. Like
it is.
Like so a lot of people have it like either a draw, and then the last fight, most people, I'd say 60% of people have Max Holloway winning that fight. And it is so tough because on the record it says that Volkanovsky is 2-0 against Max Holloway, but in reality, it seems so much closer than that, and it's so hard like for Max Holloway to get back in there. He's probably not gonna fight. You're not gonna fight Volkanovsky for a third time, and you're already
maybe though he could.
But it might have to. It might have to happen.
Argument.
It might have to happen, but it's just so weird because they know they're so matched against each other, and they don't want another really like. How bad would that look if Max Holloway lost 3 times and all of them are close fights? You know. But that's Max Holloway for you. Every fight he's in, if he's not winning, it's a close fight, really close fight. You can see same thing when he fought Dustin Poirier, really like such a but all of his fights are
when
amazing.
He fought Brian Ortega, that was a really good fight too.
Exactly, but very one-sided. That one was very one-sided. So yeah, if we jump onto that fight, that like a lot of people thought like Ortega's like because Ortega was on I believe 12-13 fight, a huge winning streak before he lost to Max Holloway, and he looked like unbeatable. Like this guy didn't lose. He had everything, ground game, everything, destroying everyone, submitting everyone, and then everyone's like, they thought Brian Ortega was unbeatable, and then Max Holloway comes in and just absolutely destroy, like
Yeah, that was his first loss in the UFC.
abolishes him, gets like 200 plus significant strikes on him, which is a crazy amount. And Brian Ortega literally didn't fight for like a year or two, and then comes back, beats the Korean Zombie, and now here he is.
Yep. Well, how do we look at this fight? Well, let's break it down, right? Volkanovski obviously has beaten Max Holloway, who Brian Ortega has lost to. Yeah. What are the key parts of Volkanovski's game? Well, we know he has great defense when it comes to, he's very technical. He breaks down his opponents. Obviously, he loves to go to decision. That's how he has most of his wins. He's got great takedown defense, striking defense. He's also a good wrestler, and he's good on the ground, and he's good at striking too. So, Brian Ortega looked good against the Korean Zombie. If you watch that fight over. His striking looks improved. He's got the iron chin. He's got that. Like I said, his striking was more improved. But we know Korean Zombie doesn't have the best striking defense. So take that how you want it. But if Ortega wants to take this belt, he's gonna have to have the best fight of his career here against Volkanovski, who is so technical. One of those technical fighters that breaks you down, just lasts longer than you, and then just wear and tears on your body. So, Volkanovski's looking for his 20th straight win, and Ortega's looking to be the champion in the featherweight division. Eric, how do you see this?
So, as you mentioned, very good analysis, Chtib. Volkanovski, it's so weird because his most recent fights have been against Max Holloway, right? And he's looked very, like, if you look at it, Max Holloway, this guy is almost unbeatable, and his striking is immaculate, crazy striking, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Volkanovski was able to stand up toe to toe with Max Holloway shows a lot. Shows that obviously, if you look at him, like, because the thing with Volkanovski, he's a stocky guy, right? I think he's like 5'6", 5'7".
Well, he used to fight at middleweight.
He used to fight at middleweight at 185, which is the same like
so
fighting
he's got
division
that
as
core
like
center still,
Like how crazy, like Derek Brunson, Paulo Costa at 185. Like how crazy is that Volkanovski was fighting there? So Volkanovski, he's a rugby guy. He's a big, stocky guy. So his wrestling is going to be really good. But Ortega, his striking is, I'd say, just one level below Volkanovski. But his grappling game, I believe Ortega has better grappling just because of the jiu-jitsu. And before the Max Holloway fight, everyone knew, okay, Ortega, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu fighters in the entire UFC. But Max Holloway just completely showed that the striking was too much, which is what Volkanovski is going to show too. He's going to show that if Ortega can't handle Volkanovski's striking, he's going to lose for sure. So that's why I think he's got to start doing his jiu-jitsu stuff on him, and just because Volkanovski breaks down people, as you said, just tears them apart. He's so strong, so good on his legs. So the only way I see Ortega winning this is probably by like a rear naked choke or submission, right? That's the only way I see it.
And we know that's going to be difficult too because Volkanovski does have great takedown defense. Like we said, he did fight at middleweight, so he kind of has that strong center core that he's been building for the middleweight. So, like you said, I find it hard to see how Ortega can win this fight if Volkanovski's, pretty much eliminating the biggest part of Ortega's game, which is getting to the ground and going for the submission. So if they keep it up, on their feet, Volkanovski, in my opinion, wins the striking game. So Ortega's going to have to get lucky here and get a takedown and figure it out. Yeah. That's the only way. Submission, like you said, rear naked choke. That's how I could see Ortega. But Ortega's got to be sharp in this fight. He's going to have like I said, he's got to have the best fight in his career if he's going to want to win because Volkanovski, of course, one of the best featherweights in the division. So,
because Volkanovski, if it goes to distance, he's probably gonna win by decision, and or he can get a TKO knockout or whatever.
Yep.
But if you had to predict this fight, what would you say?
I would say Volkanovski by decision.
Okay, Volkanovski.
That's what I'm gonna say. Because I know Ortega has that iron chin and he could take punches. Yeah. And so I don't see him like if you watch that Max Holloway fight, he never got taken down or anything. Exactly. Because he ate those punches. So yeah, I think he could take it. It's just eventually, like that fight was stopped to a medical doctor, right? Yeah. Stop that fight. So Volkanovsky for sure, not Volkanov, Ortega can for sure take punches. So that's why I think
Exactly.
it's going to go the distance, you know, to decision. He's going to win it, I think,
Okay.
by decision. That's what I would say.
I'm not lying. I might surprise you here. It's tough because I see it. I find it so difficult to believe that Volkanovski is gonna win, and what's gonna happen after the decision. I don't think Max Holloway is gonna fight. I because it would
It's
make so
tough.
much sense. It would make so much sense for the UFC to have Ortega win this fight and then Max Holloway fight after. It just makes sense, right? So for me, it's so complicated to believe that if Volkanovski wins, like what's next for Volkan? It just holds up the division. To me, I just don't want that to happen, really. So, and I know Ortega probably doesn't have like I'd say there's a 60% chance that Volkanovski wins and 40% chance that Ortega. That's if I had to put it, it'd be
Yeah.
something like that. So if I had to bet, I thought the bets would be a bit more in favor of Volkanovski. I
Yeah.
was pretty. Those are pretty close
They
bets, right?
yeah, they started off I think he was at a 200 Volkanovski,
Yeah.
but now
And
they
now it's only 100 something. Yeah.
yeah, so
So that's pretty close. But I'm I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna put like $10-20 on Ortega on this
oh
fight because
yeah.
I do believe he can pull something off.
Oh, he's got
And
to get to the ground, figure that game
but
out.
if I did have a projection, I'd say Volkanovski, but I will bet on
Okay, so
Ortega.
let me get this right. You rather see Ortega win and then
Yeah.
rematch Max Holloway,
Yeah. And then Max Holloway
then see
beat him.
Volkanovski Holloway 3? Because I don't know, it doesn't seem that bad. Like as we know, it was a controversial win, so there's still a lot of people that thought he deserved to win. So you kind of look at it as in a 1-1 split. That's how like a lot of fans see it. That's why like we were talking about Shevchenko. Like she's probably going to fight Amanda Nunes a third time, right?
Really?
Because
I don't think
I
that's
would
gonna
think
happen.
I think so. I really do think it's going to happen the third
Okay.
time because those two brought a lot of, that's basically the biggest hype around women's boxing. Like you have Amanda Nunes who's bullying people in the bantamweight, and Shevchenko who's just beating people up in the flyweight. So I really do think those two are going to fight a third time, and I could say the same thing about Max Holloway and Volkanovski. I think the second fight was the fights have always been close. The second fight was that much closer. I think he warrants himself a third fight, and I think Max Holloway is willing to do it too. Well, I mean, he's the champ, Volkanovski, so I think
Fair,
Max
but
Holloway for sure wants to fight the champ, right? He wants the belt.
exactly. But it's just weird to because I'm not like it's kind of like when DC and Stipe fought 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously
Yeah.
they had a like DC won obviously, and then Stipe won obviously, and then the third fight was like decision whatever. But this one was Volkanovski won by decision, and then Volkanovski won by split decision again. It's so
But close. It was very close.
it is no exactly. It's
That was
very
a close
close,
fight.
but it's just the fact that like on paper it says Volkanovski won. It's just
Yeah.
hard to believe that it. To me, I just feel like it's
Also
Max
one of
Holloway.
the biggest robberies in UFC history.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Well, as people say, it's one of the bit not, it is very close, and there's reasons for both of them to be declared winners. It's really how you break down that third round, right? Because Holloway won the first two, Volkanovski won the last two, and it depends. Then you ask yourself who won the third fight, and some people have Max Holloway, others have Volkanovski because the more you inflict damage, the more does that trump, quality over
Exactly.
quantity. If you have a big
Exactly.
heavy fight, even though, Volkanovski had probably more punches landed in the third or, hits that counted, but it's tough. A lot of people thought Max Holloway should have won. And so that's why I think Volkanovski can get that third fight. Not Volkanovski, Max Holloway can get that third fight. I still think it's like, what else were you going to watch in the featherweight? I mean, what else do you have that's going?
No, but that's what I was saying. It's literally gonna stick up the division because
yeah,
if I'd rather see Ortega win and then fight Max Holloway, and then something happens there. Max Holloway is the champ.
that's
And
what I would think
Volkanovski
would
gets
just
a-
happen though. I
So
think Max Holloway just wins.
But I'd rather see Max Holloway become champ another way and then rematch Volkanovski when Max Holloway has a
that could
belt
be
or something,
interesting.
right? So that'd be more interesting. And the thing with Volkanovski and Holloway is like, if I'm looking at the significant strikes right now, the first fight Volkanovski had 157, Max Holloway had 134. But significant strike doesn't mean the whole thing, right? Like
No.
if you watch a fight, like power on the punching, like a simple like a little tap might count as
or a shin kick or
exactly.
inside
But the
leg.
second fight, Volkanovski had 137 significant strikes, 3 takedowns, and Max Holloway only had 102 significant strikes. But it's not the whole picture. If you actually watch the fight, it's by rounds. Like you gotta dissect it by rounds.
Who wins?
So
who wins the most rounds?
but yeah, but it's just. But now that I'm looking at this, it's like, can Ortega, since Ortega got destroyed by Max Holloway, like how is that going to transition, right?
I don't know. He looked good against the Korean Zombie, but the Korean Zombie doesn't have the best striking defense, as we know in the division. So maybe it's a bit inflated, his performance, but I really think if it sticks on the ground, Volkanovski is just going to break him down and do the usual and stick to his game plan. And I think Ortega's only chance to win this if he gets it to the ground and wins by submission. That's really like the outcome. I don't think he wins by outstriking Volkanovski. No chance, not in my opinion.
Because Volkanovski is the best strikers in the feather, probably the best striker
in the feather, right?
other than Max Holloway. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, that's how I see it. So that should be interesting for UFC 266. And
they have a bit of beef going on.
Do they? Oh yeah, I mean they were the coaches on
the Ultimate Fighter, and then
Fighter.
I was just watching
on Joe Rogan.
Vlog. No, the Embedded Vlog. I didn't watch the Joe Rogan, but on Embedded Vlog, he's just saying, he's not the worst, guy. But he's like, I don't like this guy, like Volkanovski.
Yeah, he's saying he was fake. He's saying he's fake, and he pretends to be this nice guy and stuff. But I don't know. I think he's just picking on stuff because they're fighting, and he's being specific. But that's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have next week's episode. It's gonna be a recap of that. What's next, I guess, after those aftermaths. What do the consequences give us? Because we love seeing new types of fights and who's gonna fight who next. So stay tuned for that episode next week. But let's go into the NFL. Eric, week 2 NFL, pretty much finished except Monday Night Football, Lions versus Packers. Eric, as we normally do, week 2, week 1 fantasy, Yahoo Fantasy. But before we get into that, actually, let's quickly talk about our teams. Bengals, Steelers, our division. Eric, the Bengals lost versus the Bears, 17-20. They were down by double digits with 5 minutes left, 20-3. They quickly came back. Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions in a row. He had the longest active Ironman streak in the NFL, 199 completed passes before with no interceptions. Threw 3 in a row, and then after that, threw 2 consecutive touchdown passes to bring the lead. 2017. So let's. I watched the full game. I can break it down what I think.
Yeah.
Listen, Eric. The Bengals. I'm telling you. First of all, their defense is looking real good. The Bengals defense is looking real good this year, Eric. They're really the reason why that game was so close with the Bears. They were on the field a lot that game. This is the thing about the Bengals offense, and Zach Taylor is getting a lot of shit, and for good reason. If you look at the Bengals wide receivers, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon's on that offense. They have one of the most explosive, dangerous offenses. Not dangerous offenses, but young, talented offenses in the league. T. Higgins is like 6'5", 6'4". Then you got Tyler Boyd, he's like 6'1". Jamar Chase is a generational wide receiver. So when you want to play scared, okay, that's what's gonna you're pretty much throwing the backup quarterback at that point. Keep Joe Burrow. If you're so scared of Joe Burrow being sacked and hit, because a lot of the play calling was, they handed it off to Mixon a lot. And it was Burrow behind in the pocket throwing the ball. And that's because they don't want him rushing up and getting sacked. So if you're going to play scared with the play calling, might as well just throw in the backup quarterback, because we're not going to win if we're just going to limit our playbook.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what happened, because near the end of the game, then they started to throw the ball downfield. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins and everything, but it was just too late. You got to start the game off from that point of view right away. You got to start off explosive. And just have that firepower offense that they could have, that they shown late in the game, but they didn't do that. So that's why people are calling for Zach Taylor's head. Next week in Pittsburgh that we're going to see here when those 2 teams face off. Bengals are going to have to be wearing their big boy pants from the start here because the defense has been playing really good to the start of the season. So if they can get the offense going, Steelers defense, no TJ Watt. He's injured.
I know.
Who knows what's going to happen? He's going to be ready for next week. But that's what I say about the Bengals. I don't know. This is a great team, up and coming team. I just think they're being limited strongly by Zach Taylor and the offensive play calling. So they could have been the Bears. There were a lot of missed tackles too, a lot of big plays that were missed by the players, a lot of mental injuries that just hurt them. So, man, Justin Fields came. Andy Dalton injured Justin Fields.
Yeah.
He got a lot of false start penalties because he was like dropping back early. That's like rare. I haven't seen that in a while. And he threw an interception. So, the defense, like I said, they're stepping up. The offense needs to step up, which I mean the coaching staff, specifically Zach Taylor. But anyway, like I said, they're facing against your Steelers next week, who just lost, Eric, to the Las Vegas Raiders. Last week I asked you, who do you think was going to win? You said the Steelers pretty convincingly. You weren't threatened by the Raiders, but Raiders and Derek Carr are playing some good football. They beat the Steelers. I forgot what the score was, 26-16 or something like that.
It was. I have it right here. It was 26-17.
Yeah, 26-17. So
really,
Eric,
it wasn't
what happened?
So, okay, what happened here? Well, but before whatever I said last week, don't forget, the Raiders and Ravens game wasn't done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a really good game. Like probably game of the year.
Yeah.
So much happened in that game, and now I think about it, Raiders are a playoff contending team. If you look at their team, they're a solid team. And I don't know. Like, I'll be honest. I was watching. We were losing and winning, and then. Because I just wanted to watch other not fights, games too. I watched a good amount of this game. It was kind of weird when TJ Watt got injured. I was just changed the channel. I was pissed. I didn't want to see it, but I was impressed. Like Najee Harris had a really good game. I was mostly looking at individual players, right? But we just I don't know if Big Ben's the big deal anymore. I don't know if we're gonna have him as our number one.
I don't think so either.
QB anymore. It took me a while to realize.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
But I
started the season, you're like, no, Big Ben. I'm like, I don't know about Big Ben.
But the Raiders are a good team. We gotta give that to them. Raiders are a good team. It's not like they beat the Ravens, who would beat Kansas too. Obviously, it doesn't
exactly.
That's not what it means exactly.
No.
Raiders are. You can tell they're a really good team. So I'm not too. I'm disappointed, but I'm not too pissed off about the loss. Raiders, especially Derek Carr, had a really good game. Like Henry Ruggs had a real
that fast.
Yeah, I know Henry Ruggs. There's so many like little things you can improve on. Like our defense played okay, and then when TJ Watt injured, like it's just our defense just crumbles after. Our wide receivers, they played okay, but hey, we just got to bounce back. We got to get an easy win over the Bengals next week.
Listen,
gotta get an easy win.
That's why I'm scared if TJ Watt comes back here. Because the Bengals O-line, they led a lot of sacks against the Bears, and wasn't even Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack didn't really he had a good game. He had a sack on Burrow, but wasn't really he had pressure and stuff like that, but wasn't his usual Khalil Mack self, I would say. So give credit to the Bengals there. But their O-line just wasn't very good. Wasn't good against Minnesota. Wasn't good here. And that's, I guess, the lack of that makes the offense lack because we're scared of the play calling and stuff like that to keep Burrow safe back in the pocket. But now they face the Steelers here, and Joe Burrow said they're got to be wearing their big boy pants from the start because you can't go down against the Steelers with that defense. And so I don't know, just be surprised, Eric. If Zach Taylor brings his big boy pants, hopefully he does because he hasn't brought them yet. But if he does, and we start throwing the ball down to 6'5" T. Higgins, I don't know. Then Jamar Chase, 2 touchdowns down 2 games. I'm telling you, I think it's gonna be a good game next week.
Oh, it's gonna be a very good game.
I think for sure. A lot of people might have the Steelers, and for good reason. But I don't know. It could be a very close game here. The Bengals are not playing bad football; they're playing pretty good football, especially the defense too. So, see, offense got figured out here. Joe Burrow brush over the old game, 3 interceptions, whatever. That was a fluke. He's gonna come back stronger, and just hopefully I see some deep bombs downfield early. Test the defense early, but also keep that O-line's got to show up, man. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how good the pass rush Pittsburgh Penguins are without TJ Watt are though. I don't know how good their pass rush is going to be. But with
Okay,
TJ Watt, definitely good. But he's got that groin injury so far. So
I know, I know.
that
What's your
sucks.
projection if you have to project the score for next week?
Um, I think it's a low scoring game.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fair.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, the Pittsburgh defense is good, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like a 20, maybe like, maybe like, yeah, like 2017 is a good score though, but
27. Think he's gonna come down to the wire?
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough though.
Exactly.
It-
But
it's,
who's gonna
it's,
win? Who's gonna win?
I want to say the Bengals, but it really depends like how good that Steelers defense. They've been inconsistent this
I
year.
know,
It
I
seems
know.
like so. It really depends how that defense comes out and plays because if they're on their game, it just really depends because the Bengals are really hurting them. This loss against the Bears, it wasn't really a loss to the Bears. It was really the Bengals, shot themselves in the foot. They lost to
Those
themselves.
interceptions, yeah.
The interception, sure, yeah, but just even the play call is the biggest thing. Zach Taylor really needs to get
Yeah,
things going
yeah.
here. I'm tired of these, like these little slants. Yeah, the wheel, like the post slants are great and stuff, but you hand it off to Joe Mixon a lot, and that's great that you don't give up on the run when you're down and stuff like that, because Joe Mixon is a really good running back, and he's having a great season so far, averaging a few yards here per carry. But you still got to throw the ball downfield to T Higgins. You gotta take advantage of this guy. This guy's 6'4", 6'5",
He's
man.
very good. Yeah, I
Okay,
love T.
he's gonna go up and get the ball majority of the times, and it's Joe Burrow throwing it to him. And then you have Jamar Chase, who's a generational wide receiver. So we got to start making plays here. Got to start making plays and test that defense early. Can't do it later on in the game when you're down. Got to do it from the start. From the start. So
That's
what they got to do. I don't know. What's Big Ben got to do? Figure it out here against the Bengals defense. That's surprising. I'll say that.
I don't think Big Ben. I just want to see the Big Ben kind of like similar to what I saw last year. Like get the ball, throw it quick, right? Because when you're Big Ben, like you just want you're a little. He's on the older side,
Oh yeah.
But, he's got to throw it. I just want to see him because last year he'd get the ball and throw it quick. We lost some of our O line from last year, some big pieces, but I just want to see him get the ball, throw it quick. Because if Najee is way better than because usually he works like when you had Le'Veon Bell, who was very good, and that was a good duo. But Najee Harris pretty similar to Le'Veon Bell, and I just want to see him utilize Najee Harris a bit more. He's a very good running back. Probably
we know the Steelers' run game isn't that good.
Yes, I know, but just you, I don't know, just utilize.
But I use him like he kind of had that touchdown play there where you got the ball thrown to him and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't know if you saw his highlight. If you saw his highlight, like he had a really nice stiff arm. Like
yeah,
Najee Harris is a very good running back. I just want to.
That was his first quarterback. That was his first career touchdown, right? Passing touchdown.
But I'm telling you, he's a good running back. Like
yeah, we'll see.
Like,
no doubt.
Okay, we get it. Jamar Chase has 2 touchdowns. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But he's a generational talent now because he has 2 touchdowns.
Oh, so he's not a generational talent. He's not one of the best wide receivers.
He catches 1 lucky pass in the first game and
gets 1 lucky pass, and then this game what? Gets a lucky pass and makes 2 defenders knock each other to the ground.
I did see that. Yeah, that was sick.
Listen, man, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. Listen, it's gonna be worse if the Steelers lose versus to the Bengals and the Bengals losing. I'll tell you that much. So I got nothing to lose. It's on you. It's on you because you better make sure if they lose, I'm showing up next episode with my Jamar Chase jersey on. I'm gonna let you hear it because I told you from the start, Big Ben. I told you question mark around this guy. Question mark.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Steelers. Still, yeah, Mike Tomlin. They're a good team, but I don't know if they're going to be a. Looks like the Browns are going to run away with this division, maybe, perhaps.
Well, don't forget we're all 4 teams are 1-1 right now. All 4 teams are 1-1 right now.
Yeah.
So and Steelers are the best team in the division.
I don't know. I would say I give that to the Browns right now. Browns look legit, and I feel like the Steelers are just going to lose to shitty teams down the stretch for some reason.
Okay.
Like they did last year when they went 11-0 and just choked after. I think they're riding that choke, pretty much.
I just don't think we're gonna have the pressure because when you go 11-0, like that's a lot of pressure. Like maybe was a little too much. But now if we just like we spread out
If
our
you
losses a
just
bit,
suck and just like playing up to your standards, like just playing up to your standards, like everyone expects you to play. Yeah, I guess it's not that big of a deal.
just watch.
But yeah, so that's gonna be exciting to see. Next week take place. Week 3 in the NFL. Week 2 in the books. Monday Night Football happening now. Aaron Rodgers versus Jared Goff. Monday Night Football. So we're gonna stay tuned, like we said, give our reactions to UFC 266. Talk about. Oh wait, talk about our NFL team.
Fantasy teams. Yeah.
Oh my god, almost forgot it quickly. My fantasy team this week 2-0. Not a surprise. Big 151 win to 142. Murray had a great game. D-Hop had an average game. Tyler Lockett had a superstar-like game, 31 points.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, great as always. Joe Mixon, like I said, he was great against the Bears if you actually watched the game because he had no touchdown value. He only got 8 points. Mark Andrews, average. Melvin Gordon, average. Young Hoku, average too. The guy's been playing under his projections now 2 weeks in a row. Los Angeles defense, 11 points for me. So, like I said, Eric, I'm just killing in this league. I just beat the guy that you lost to in week 1, so you're welcome on
thank
that.
you. Yeah.
And yeah, my team's good. No worries here. What about you?
Hey, same here. First week it was tough, right? Because it was such a close matchup, and I ended up losing, and I was projected to be almost undefeated, right? My team for 0-1, but huge bounce back. I think I probably had the most points in the league. I believe.
Yeah.
164.66.
Well, let's. Why don't you look at some of your points totals and tell us what your defense got?
Yeah, but hey, that's what.
Yeah, why don't you say the number?
Okay, well, Buffalo
like you're gonna act
20...
you're gonna act like it's normal.
No, well, Buffalo they can probably do it again.
First shutout points of the season 2016, not gonna happen again. All right, so you can count your 164 projection out the door.
Hey, we beat our sponsor, Hot Streak Mike.
There you go.
Is that like the head guy at Hot Streak?
I don't know.
But make sure to get Hot Streak Fantasy.
Yeah, download the app.
Exactly. And then Rodrigo Blankenship did pretty well. Jarvis Landry is not gonna get injured like that again. So I'm probably gonna have someone else instead. So hey, that kind of balances out with the Buffalo defense, And then Travis Kelce, of course, I have him in almost every single fantasy. Absolute stud, gets his touchdowns, everything. Darrell Henderson Jr. I'll be honest, I played him. I was a little skeptical, but
I told you to play him.
Sure. And then Najee Harris had a good game. Chris Godwin had a decent game. Terry McLaurin had a really good game. I was watching that game too. So very proud of my boy, Scary Terry. And then Josh Allen had really for 35-0, not too many points, but
not too many points. So you're 1-1. I'm looking to be the only 2-0 team in the league. We'll see what happens after Monday night. Right now, if Terry loses, I'll be the only 2-0 team. That's going to be a nice because I don't think we don't have divisions in this league. So
we don't.
No, it's 1-8 or 1-10.
No, we don't.
Like
yeah, we don't. Okay.
So it's 1-10. So having a nice 2-0 lead cushion, being a game ahead is nice in the NFL. So yeah, that's how our fantasy teams look like. What they look like for week 2. We'll let you know about week 3 after the NFL's week wraps up. As usual, that's next Wednesday. But as always, thank you for listening to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 38 next week, episode 39, getting closer to 40 every week. As always, like I said, still waiting Jack Eichel's trade from the Buffalo Sabres. Elliot Freeman just this week or last Friday or whatever, he said this week there's going to be more news on Jack Eichel and the situation in Buffalo. That's what he said. So we have to wait and see what that's going to be about. Who knows? Jack Eichel's going to be traded by the time of the start of the season. Probably not. It looks like Buffalo wants to get rid of them, but seems content keeping him as long as possible. So I'll throw it out. Hopefully he gets traded by next episode. Probably not, but I'll keep saying it as usual. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, we'll see you guys in the next episode. So stay tuned. Roll the outro.